Because I have a December birthday and obviously Christmas is coming up, can I count this as a financially fine decision if it's both my Christmas and birthday gift to myself? Does that make this okay? Or does someone need to take my credit card away in 2025? It's nice to see you. I'm glad you could make it, and welcome back to Bookmas. And realistically, it wouldn't be a Bookmas for me if it didn't have at least one final good, amazing, stunning book haul. It just wouldn't be. Because if there's one thing about me, it's that if there's a book, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it. It's gonna show up at my door. I'm gonna get myself a little coffee and I'm gonna go to the bookstore. If there's a book, I'm gonna buy it. It's at the front of the checkout when I'm buying toothpaste. It's added to cart. It's a problem. It's a serious problem. However, I feel like it's not one that I really fear I want to fix. Now, there is one way in which I can say that this is not the most financially smart decision that I've ever made in my entire life. Because if you're Canadian and you didn't know, as of December 14th, something like that, there will be no tax on books for like 2 months. And I got all of these before December 14th. So, I mean, I could have waited a minute. However, I could not have, because if I'm at the bookstore and I want it coming home with me, it's probably gonna come home with me. There's a lot of little categories in here as to reasons why I needed to purchase them. It's more just like a justification for me. Yeah, there's also just some books that did come home with me. That being said, these are the 25 books that I've acquired in the last little bit. Is it 25? 25, which last time I did one of these, it was 30, so that's progress. Now, we could be here forever. I could write a full 50-page dissertation on how there is a difference between book buying and book shopping. They are different hobbies, they fulfill different things for me. However, if you want to live vicariously through my bad financial decision, let's get into the books I bought. First, we have the entire Lightlark trilogy, book 1 to 3. Okay, my For You page was bombarded with people reading Skyshade, and for the most part, loving it. People were loving Skyshade. I was hearing so many good things about it. Also, I noticed that Alex Astor had followed me on TikTok, and that I think is the first author I've noticed that follows me on TikTok. And I was like, wow, I need to do my due diligence. I've been meaning to get to this. And honestly, seeing that was my sign to run and add them to cart and check out, and for them to all show up at my house. I feel like once they arrived, I feel like I remembered that there were a lot of people who didn't vibe with this series, thought it was too YA, weren't a big fan of the love triangle, and now I have all three. I don't know much about the series. Well, that's a lie. I feel like I know the take line that a lot of people say. We're following Isla, and there's either Team Grimm or there's Team Oro. Those are like the two people in the love triangle, I'm assuming. And every 100 years, an island pops up. I don't know why I'm describing Lightlark to you like you haven't heard it 100 bajillion times. However, an island shows up every 100 years, and a bunch of people compete for a wish, a prize, something. It's a bunch of gods, if I'm not mistaken. Bunch of powerful people, and the island only shows up for a year, once every 100 years, and there's some sort of games on it, and a lot of people need to die. Also, I heard that Alex Astor said to end the love triangle, one of them is gonna need to die. Is this going to be emotionally devastating? Now, the first half of this pile is what I like to refer to my I had to. They came out, I had to go buy them. There are a couple of books, couple of series on my list that are being re-released, and every time one comes out, they're just so big on like their limited edition. If you want all your spines to match up, and I've made it this far, I want all my spines to match up. So every single time a new one gets released and I see it in the bookstore, I grab it. So then I have the full series when I go to read it in the new re-release covers. Also, just like if there's a book in a series that I'm not done yet and I see it, I'm like, I mean, I'm gonna finish it one of these days. Redeemed by Lauren Asher. This is the 4th book, right? In the Dirty Air series, which is her like F1 series. This is the 1st series, and they're being re-released by Bloom now with like fun little covers that all match up. I think this is actually the last one. Is it? And on that note, we have officially collected the entire Dirty Air series. I read the 1st book in this series, Throttled, like in May or June, and it was fun. It was fine. The F1-ness of it, I think, is what made it good. Like, it actually kept the plot carrying forward. I didn't really care for the romance. However, I love an interconnected standalone romance series, and like realistically, this isn't the season of the year that I'm gonna read it. Now I officially have all of the spines, so I can add this to my Lauren Asher collection. I think I now have every Lauren Asher book ever published. That's fun. Lost and Lassoed by Lila Sage. This is the 3rd book in the Rebel Blue Branch series, and I actually viscerally did not really like Swift and Saddle. That's dramatic. I just didn't connect or jive with it really that much. I felt like nothing happened in cause and effect. However, everyone said that this one was really good, and like even from the very 1st book, Done and Dusted, we knew we wanted Gus and Teddy's story, and we knew we were gonna get Gus and Teddy's story. They're such quick, easy, fun romances, and the way that she writes, like she has a lot of really good romance taglines. I found in Swift and Saddle they didn't necessarily pertain entertain the characters as much as they were just like cute, fun romance taglines. However, they're like the easiest little palette cleansers. They're fun, they're enjoyable to read in the moment, and like I'm not gonna not finish this series when I have like a pretty good time reading it. So I had to add it to my cart. Frontrunner by Elsie Silver. This is the third book in the Gold Rush series, and this entire spine is gonna add up to make a mountainscape, just like the Dirty Air series spines are matching up to make a full race car. I mean, a re-release is gonna get me every single time. This is one of the smartest things Bloom ever did, because even if I had read these books in the past, I would definitely have gone out to get multiple copies, and I have done that. The Gold Rush series comes with 4 Chestnut Springs, and the Eaton boys from Chestnut Springs' sister Violet is in the second or third book, and then that's how they connect the series moving forward. And then the Rose Hill series is connected to Willa from the second book in Chestnut Springs. I love an interconnected standalone series, and just it being based in Canada, like I know I'm gonna like these. I also know these are her first work, so it's probably not gonna be as good as Chestnut Springs. I mean, authors are always growing, always getting better at writing, always getting better at creating characters. Elsie Silver is actually my queen, and I will not leave a book of hers unread, even though I now have 3 from the series unread. I will eventually get to them. That'll be a next summer thing. The Kingmaker series Year 2 by Sophie Lark. Do these even have titles? Yeah, it's just Kingmakers Year 2. Am I wrong in that? Regardless, I got Year 1 I think in my last book haul because it had blue sprayed edges and it sounded fun. It's like a mafia high school situation. Like it's a school that mafia bosses' children go to. Sounds so fun. But then a lot of you let me know that it is in fact a second generation series and I should read the Brutal Birthright series first, which I have been doing. I've read the first 2 in that series and I actually really enjoyed them. I love the way that Sophie Lark writes. This is like a fun new take on like a fun palette cleanser. How many times am I gonna say the word fun? Calm down. Not everything needs to be extremely fun, babe. Because she does like a typical romance. Like they have like typical rom-com features to them, but then the set and setting is rival mafia families and these are their children. I think it's gonna be so good, and I'm kind of loving that I'm reading them like kind of slowly in between other books, and I'll get to have the rest of the Brutal Birthright series and then this series as these books come out, because again, this is another re-release, but it's being re-released with gorgeous sprayed edges, and these covers, something about them just does it for me. Now this is the pile I like to very affectionately refer to as my trophy pile. The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Lori Gilmore. Listen to it on audio. There's no world that I'm going to listen to an audiobook and then not have the physical book as a trophy, okay? You either get it or you don't, and I am one of the girlies that gets it. Listen for the lie. Yeah, I will be thinking about this book. This will be in my thriller mystery hall of fame, I think, in perpetuity. This is arguably the best audiobook that I've ever heard. I fear you will hear me ranting and raving about this a lot in the coming future. We're following Lucy, whose best friend Savvy has been, and everybody thinks that she did it and she doesn't remember the night. So she's like, maybe I did do it. And then a podcaster, Ben Owens, comes into town and he's like, I'm gonna crack this case wide open and I'm gonna do a podcast about it. And Lucy's like, so you're bringing this to national news and you're kind of ruining my life, but I also want to solve it. So maybe we should work together? I could rant and rave about the feelings I have for this book for an exorbitant amount of time. Lights Out by Navessa Allen. I did also listen to an audio and wasn't my favorite thing ever. It wasn't. I'd be lying to you if I said that I loved this. I think I settled on giving it like a 3.5. We're following Josh and Allie. Josh has like a masked TikToker thirst trap-esque account and Allie is a big fan of it, okay? And it comes across Josh's desk that Allie is very interested in this whole mask kink situation. So he decides to stalk her. It's like the perfect mix of comedy with dark romance, but I didn't love the spice in this. I don't know if it was because I listened to it on audio. It was funny and it was fun. I had a good time with it. However, it is a fun time and I understand why people love it. 1 pile down, 2 piles to go. I mean, at this point, it looks like a problem. This is too many books. I can't read as fast as I can buy them, but they will get read. Metal Slinger by Rachel Snyder. This is actually my book club's book pick for the month, and I've heard nothing but amazing things about this book. From what I've gathered, this is another indie enemies to lovers romantasy. I have no idea where the plot goes. So if you're interested in reading along with us, the option is always available. It's always there, and we'd love to have you. Throne of Secrets by Carrie Maniscalco, the second book in the Throne of the Fallen series. Does this series have a name? If it does, I don't know it. I just found a receipt in here. I should keep that. Now you may be asking yourself, Maddie, if I recall correctly, you actually haven't finished the Kingdom of the Wicked series. And also, furthermore, if I remember correctly, you haven't read Throne of the Fallen, and you would be right in all of that. You'd be 100% correct. I really want to finish the Kingdom of the Wicked series before I go into 2025 because I want to read Throne of the Fallen, and then I want to go in and I want to read this. I've heard nothing but amazing things about Carrie Maniscalco's adult romantasy, and I like Kingdom of the Wicked. I'm like halfway through Kingdom of the Curse, and I think it is a good old fun time, and I really want to meet the other princes of hell, which is what we are getting in this adult version of the series. However, I have Throne of the Fallen in the hardback because I was originally planning on not even reading the Kingdom of the Wicked series first. I was convinced and I am now reading it, and now that I have Throne of the Fallen, I don't want to not have the whole series in the matching hardbacks. So I did get this, I think, the day it came out, regardless of the fact that I literally can't read it yet. My first book pick for December's Book of the Month box is Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. Love Alice Feeney. Love her with everything in me. I read Rock, Paper, Scissors. It's like, I think the first thriller that I'd ever read, and I gave it 6 stars at the time. I don't know if it's still a 6-star read for me, like after having read hundreds of more books. And I recently read Daisy Darker and was shocked by that book. Like, that book did so much, and this is her new release, so there was no world that I was not going to pick it up. Our main character is having the worst best day ever, so he calls his wife to talk about it, but while on the phone he hears a crazy noise and then his wife goes missing. And I know Alice Feeney with the plot twist, she's just gonna be there. Now we enter the pile that I have affectionately dubbed, I literally must have turned my brain off in the bookstore because there's no other world that I could justify that I got all of these. I have never in my entire life read a Christmas book. That's a lie. I read one. I read Christmas Fix last year. I'm not a big themed book person. However, in the spirit of Bookmas, I got this many. They'll get read at some point. You always need a little bit of Christmas cheer. It's fine. The Wedding Witch by Erin Sterling. This is the third book in the X-Hex series. I'm actually like 6 pages into it. I don't remember starting it. I don't know what day I just started it. It sounds fun so far. Sounds fun. One of them is a witch or like works with witchy things, and the other one is trying to unlock a curse, like trying to figure out a situation to fix something. Don't ask me what books are about before I've read them because I like going in blind, and I 9 times out of 10 just explain them wrong or very poorly. And they end up at like a Christmas wedding together. It's only like 275 pages, not even 240. I think it'll be a cute, fun time. However, do I have to read the X-Hex first? Should I stop this and start reading the X-Hex next October? I'm not gonna read a witch book in December. I guess this is a witch book, but it's a Christmas themed witch book. That's a sentence I never thought I would say. The Christmas Tree Farm by Lori Gilmore. This is the third book after the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, and the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore is in the middle. The ambiance of her books, they're very high. I'm very excited to see if this will have like the Christmas spirit that I'm hoping that it does. It's another like fun, quick little romance book, and the vibes are high, and I'll be happy to be back in Dream Harbor whenever I read this. I'm not expecting like a crazy 5-star out of this. However, I'm expecting the vibes to be high. Wreck the Halls by Tessa Bailey. I posted this on my story like yesterday or the day before, just like a list of Christmas books, and I got an overwhelming number of DMs saying, babe, this is bad. This is not good. So I might have to find the receipt for this one. I feel like I'm utterly turned off now, and that I won't go into this with a clean slate. I'll go in like, yeah, I get why people don't like it. This one, however, Love Light Farms by BK Borison. I got so many DMs on the positive. Everybody seems to love this series. Everybody seems to love what this book does. I think it's on a Christmas Tree Farm. Don't quote me on that, but I know it is Friends to Lovers, and this is recommended in like every single this Christmas book you have to read video. So I feel like I have to read it. I feel like I need to know what it's about. And this is a part of the Love Light series. So I don't know if this is the first one or like in the middle. I'm hoping it's the first one. If I want to read this during Christmas time, I don't have time to read any books before this comes. The Due Diligence was not done. Due Diligence is very rarely done while in the bookstore and overwhelmed with pages. My December Darling by Lauren Asher. This is her holiday novella. It's cute, it's tiny, it's fun. However, the Indigo version recently came back online. It recently became available again, and it is this but in pink. I fear I need it. I fear I need it. The only reason I have not read this yet is because I think I want to go to Indigo and get the pink version of it because Stop is adorable. I know this is also based in Lake Wisteria. Like, this connects to all of her books. Like, Final Offer from the Dreamland Billionaire series is based in Lake Wisteria, and then her new series that has Love Unwritten and Love Redesigned are also based in Lake Wisteria. So I think these are characters from that. I love this world, and Love Unwritten out of nowhere was such a resounding 5. Honestly, now that I think about it, I think it was a 6-star, and I think I stand on that rating. I loved every single page, second, word, sentence, paragraph, chapter, everything in that book. And if this is based in the same world, I need to read it, and I fear I need it in pink. Now, the second book of the month pick was The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Ali Carter, and I did in fact actually already read this. Loved it. This balances a little bit of Christmas cheer, a cozy Knives Out mystery kind of story, but then also a beautiful romance in a way I cannot explain. We have 2 characters who are both mystery thriller authors, Maggie being our cozy mystery writer and Ethan being our thriller writer, and they've both been mysteriously invited to spend Christmas in this estate in England. It's a Knives Out kind of story. I feel like you can tell where that's gonna go. Spectacular by Stephanie Garber. This is the Caraval holiday special. There was no world that it wasn't gonna get picked up. It was 40 Canadian dollars and is 75% pictures. I'm not mad about it. It's beautiful. I needed to have it. It needed to live on my shelf, but I feel like there's maybe 500 words in this total. Like, it's giving mostly pictures. Don't let BookTok get a hold of this one because this is the amount of words it seems like everybody wants to have on their page nowadays. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Oh my god, I'm literally kidding. Now on to my little special edition corner that would be a lot bigger if it weren't for the fact that Canada Post is currently not in service, and I haven't gotten any of my special edition deliveries from like the end of October. So actually imagine this was quite a bit higher if you're trying to take like a good guess on how much I spend on special edition, which again, I never claimed to be a financially responsible person. I just literally never did. The Waterstones editions of Powerless and Reckless. Yes, these are books that I already own. Yes, this will be the 3rd copies of them that I own. And the only reason that I decided that I need them was because the beautiful reverse dust jacket. Now, need is a really strong word. I'm obsessed with these reverse dust jackets, and I needed to have them in my collection. Talk about this naked hardback. The foiling, gorgeous. I remember one time I was showing my boyfriend all of my special editions, and he was giggling to himself, and he was like, this is just how like a little boy talks about Pokemon cards. And I was like, Yeah, I feel like we probably have similar emotions, me and that 13-year-old boy. I feel like we feel very similarly for these tangible objects. And then Reckless's reverse dust jacket. Not a need, a want, a big want. And a want that hit me at a time that I was feeling financially irresponsible. The entire Knock 'Em Out series, which you're right, I've only read things we never got over. I haven't gone further in this series yet. In a world where these beautiful hardback editions exist, there was just no world I wasn't gonna buy them. I also bought them like 8 months before they came out, so I was like, obviously I'm gonna read them. And then they showed up at my door and I forgot about it. And I was like, oh yeah, I never got around to finishing the series before these showed up at my door. These are probably some of my favorite special editions ever, like to have ever existed. The way that they're like dictionaries, like they look like an encyclopedia, but girly version and beautiful. I love them. Also, if you were wondering, because I've gotten so many DMs asking why I did not get the Magnolia Park special editions, I did. And they did ship and they are on their way. They're sitting in a Canada Post facility somewhere in Canada until packages start moving again, and watching everybody unbox them is what I lived vicariously through the week that those finally came out, because if I couldn't hold those beautiful cloth bound books in my hand, I could live vicariously through other people doing so. It wouldn't have been a book miss from me without a book haul, because if there's one tagline that I die by, it's that if there's a book, I'm gonna buy it. And you know what? 2024 was the year of buying it. Maybe I'll read it in 2025. Maybe I won't need to use book buying as my therapy. No one hold their breath, because there's a real chance. Unless someone takes my credit card away, it will continue to happen. Let me know if you guys have read any of these and what you thought of them, or if you're gonna be adding any of these to your TBR. And also, if you want to volunteer as tribute to like hide my credit card somewhere in my house for me so I can't find it for like a good couple of months, let me know. Hit me up. Love you. Bye. I can't even pretend to be sad that I spent this amount of money on books. Like, I'm excited about every single one of these. I am. Maybe not Wreck the Halls. That one might be returned.